Welcome. Today is Saturday, April 13th, 2019. Here's what's what. Dozens of mummified mice were among the animals found in an ancient Egyptian tomb unveiled last week by the Antiquities Ministry with the aim of drawing tourists to the central Sohag province. The tomb, dating back more than 2,000 years, was unearthed in the city of Akhmim and is believed to have belonged to a senior official. A human mummy was found inside, along with more than 50 mummified mice, cats, and falcons dating to the Ptolemaic era. The country's plethora of heritage sites is a major draw for tourists, and the ministry describes Sohag as one of the most historically rich cities in Egypt, where a museum opened last year. A ship dating back some 3,600 years has been found off Turkey's Mediterranean coast. The shipwreck, found by the Akdeniz University Underwater Research Center teams, is reported to be the oldest commercial shipwreck that has ever been discovered in the world. Researchers took underwater images and photographs of the newly found shipwreck called the Bronze Age shipwreck. The shipwreck is estimated to remain off the western coast of Antalya, but its exact place was not revealed to prevent it from being plundered. This ship dates back to 1600 BC. It's 14 meters in length, and it has 1.5 tons of copper ingots. For now, researchers say that the ship sank at the end of the 14th century BC. The final destination of the ship was probably one of the Mycenaean palaces in mainland Greece. With this find, the number of shipwrecks discovered along the Mediterranean coast has so far increased to 167. Research conducted in mice suggests the food additive tert-butylhydroquinone, TBHQ, found in many common products from frozen meat to crackers and fried foods, suppresses the immune response the body mounts when fighting the flu. In addition to increasing the severity of flu symptoms, the study found evidence that TBHQ exposure could reduce the effectiveness of the flu vaccine through its effects on T cells, a vital component of the immune system. Researchers say the connection may help explain why seasonal influenza continues to pose a major health threat worldwide. An estimated 290,000 to 650,000 people globally die from flu-related respiratory problems each year. The study showed that mice on a TBHQ diet had a weakened immune response to influenza infection. TBHQ suppressed the function of two types of T cells, helper and killer T cells. Ultimately, this led to more severe symptoms during a subsequent influenza infection. TBHQ is an additive used to prevent spoilage with a maximum allowed concentration of 200 parts per million in food products. It's unclear how much TBHQ people are ingesting, though estimates based on model diets have suggested some U.S. consumers eat almost double the maximum allowable amount of TBHQ, and it can be hard to know if you're consuming TBHQ, as it's not always listed on ingredient labels. The best way to limit TBHQ exposure is to be cognizant about food choices. Since TBHQ is largely used to stabilize fats, a low-fat diet and cutting down on processed food will help reduce TBHQ consumption. Turning to birthdays for today, April 13th. Ricky Schroeder is 49. Ricky's an American actor and film director. As a child actor, he debuted in the film The Champ, 1979, going on to become a child star on the sitcom Silver Spoons and as the title character in Little Lord Fauntleroy alongside Alec Guinness. He's continued acting as an adult, notably on the Western miniseries Lonesome Dove and on the crime drama series NYPD Blue. Tony Dow turns 74. Tony's an American film producer, director, sculptor, and television actor. He's best known for his role in the television sitcom Leave It to Beaver, which ran in primetime from 1957 to 1963. Tony played Wally Cleaver, the elder son of June and Ward Cleaver. During the 1970s, he continued acting while working in the construction industry and studying journalism and filmmaking. Tony's been married twice and has 2 children and grandchildren. Lyle Wagner is 84 today. Lyle's an American actor and former model, known for his work on The Carol Burnett Show from 1967 to 1974, and for playing the role of Steve Trevor and Steve Trevor Jr. on Wonder Woman from 1975 to 1979. He was a finalist for the title role in the TV series version of Batman, but lost the role to Adam West. In 1973, Lyle became Playgirl's first male semi-nude centerfold. He currently resides near Jackson, Wyoming, where he's a sculptor. Lyle's been married since 1961. He and his wife have 2 sons. Max Weinberg is 68. Max is an American drummer and television personality, most widely known as the longtime drummer for Bruce Springsteen's E Street Band and as the band leader for Conan O'Brien on Late Night with Conan O'Brien and The Tonight Show with Conan O'Brien. He is the father of Slipknot drummer Jay Weinberg. A team of researchers with members from Brazil, South Africa, and the United States has found an example of homophily among dolphins who work together with fishermen in Brazil for the mutual benefit of both. In Laguna, Brazil, there are fishermen who have formed an alliance with wild bottlenose dolphins living just offshore, both of whom target mullets, a type of fish. The dolphins have found that if they herd groups of the fish toward the shore where the fishermen are waiting with nets, they make it easier on themselves to catch fish. The dolphins slap their heads or tails on the water when the fish are close enough for the fishermen to catch. Upon seeing the signal from the dolphins, the fishermen cast their nets. When they do so, the fish begin to break away from their school, making it easier for the dolphins to catch them. But it wasn't the relationship the dolphins established with the humans that the researchers were studying. They wanted to know if working together resulted in the formation of social relationships in dolphins. The researchers report that the same individual dolphins that fished with humans hung out together even when they weren't fishing. They would swim around and play together, clearly preferring the company of one another over the company of other dolphins in the area. This behavior in dolphins was an example of homophily, which sociologists define as behavior by individuals in a group who associate in a social manner with those who engage in that behavior with them, in this case, fishing with humans. They suspect that the fishing behavior they engage in is likely learned by watching others in their group as they grow up, a behavior that could be part of a cultural tradition. Recently, archaeologists in Pompeii have discovered yet another 2,000-year-old well-preserved frescoed fast food counter, thermopolium, with drinks and food preserved in large jars embedded in the counter of masonry. These were commonly used by the Romans when consuming meals away from home. Not every Roman had the time or opportunity to cook at home, and many poor Romans couldn't afford a private kitchen. With the snack bars in ancient Rome, people could get cheap meals like salty fish, coarse bread, and baked cheese. As for dessert, they could get honey and spicy wine drinks. Thermopolium is an ancient Roman restaurant or fast food counter that offered warm meals and drinks. People who were hungry could visit a thermopolium and get something to eat straight away. The discovery, which was made at the Regio 5 section of Pompeii, is more documentation of daily life in the city that was buried under a massive volcanic ash when Mount Vesuvius erupted August 24, 79 AD. Excavations carried out in the area revealed several well-preserved ruins of thermopolia in Pompeii and Herculaneum. The recently unearthed snack bar of old Roman times was found with decorations that depict on one side a beautiful figurine of Nereid on horseback in a marine environment, and on the other the illustration of the activity itself that took place in the shop, almost like a commercial sign. In Pompeii alone, there are about 80 thermopolia similar to this one. According to the United States Department of Agriculture, food expiration dates refer to food quality, not food safety. Federal regulations don't require that food expiration dates be put on meat, poultry, eggs, dairy, cans, and boxed foods. Baby formula is the only product that requires an expiration date. They're aided as a helpful guide to consumers and retailers. Here are the 3 most common labels. Best if used by. This date suggests when a product will be at peak quality. It'll still be safe to consume after that date, but the flavor and texture quality will start to go down. Use by. This date is usually found on more perishable items like meat. It's still okay to consume the product for a short period after the date, but don't wait too long. And sell by. This date tells retailers when the product should be off the shelves. Sales are one way grocery stores try to get older inventory into consumers' carts, and it's usually pretty effective. A USDA report states that Americans waste about 30% of food every year. Part of that's because they follow expiration dates too closely and end up throwing out perfectly good food.